Hi, everyone. Ann O'Connell with OC Publishing here, and welcome to this week's author journey. We have a returning guest today. I'm very excited that we're going to have Keonté Beals join us again. He was with us about 6 months ago, but he's got so much going on. Recently released his second children's book. For those of you who don't know, he is a singer, songwriter, entrepreneur, author, and just an all-around amazing young man. Grew up in northwestern Nova Scotia, and I'm so pleased to have him with me today. I'm going to bring him up without further ado, and here he is. Hey,
Hey, what's going
Keonté.
on?
Oh my goodness, just pumping along and getting things going and having a blast. How about you?
I'm keeping busy, keeping productive. I can't complain. Life has been pretty cool to me, I think.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
what kind of comes around goes around, right? What you put out often is what you get back. So what
Yeah.
have you been up to in the last 6 months since we talked to you last? When you launched your first children's book, I Am Perfectly
Yeah.
Me, which I have right behind me, but you have a new one that's recently come out. Let's just have a quick peek at this and tell us.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. So this
Look
book
at
is
this.
called I Am a King. And it's the second book from the I Am series. And I got to illustrate and write this one, and it's pretty cool. The story is pretty cool, and it follows young Shamar as he and his dad kind of take you through a journey about what it means to be a king. Um, so it's pretty cool.
And what does that mean to you personally? Like where does this message come from?
Yeah, I think it's just about, conquering the empire, which is yourself, your mental health, being able to love yourself unconditionally, and that means everything, all of your flaws, all the things that you're working on, the things that you may not love, but also the beautiful things about yourself too. We all have great parts of us too that are beautiful too. So it's just about loving all of you and, keeping that at the forefront.
Have you always loved yourself? Have you always recognized what a beautiful soul you are and the multi talents that you have? Like, has that been a struggle or was that pretty natural?
Oh my goodness, definitely not natural. It has definitely not always been the case. Last year was a big year for me actually, and really fully coming into myself with all of that actually in 2022. It took a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of work, and you have to put in the work. To where I'm at a point where I do love everything, about myself, but it took a while to get there.
What was it that you felt you were lacking? Like, what was some of the soul searching that you did?
Compassion, for myself was
Mm,
the biggest one for me.
hmm.
Compassion for myself, being able to forgive myself um, for situations that I put myself in or I allowed to even happen,
Hmm.
in my life. So it's just about having, the same amount of compassion that I had for everyone else, and giving that back to myself. It was a journey. It was a tough one too.
It is a journey. And through that, and now through and for a while through your music, writing about those struggles and sharing with people and evolving into this children's book
Yeah.
writer, author
Yeah.
as well. Um, you know, what was it that motivated you to do that?
Yeah, so a lot of people I don't think really know. Like I started writing children's books when I was younger. I guess I didn't really focus on that though. For me, it was just writing what was on my mind, putting it on paper, telling little stories here and there. So for me, it was just kind of getting back to that. I'm always kind of thinking about how I can go back into my mind as a kid, and tap into the innocence and the imagination, that I had as a kid. Like that's where we all were able to run free. We didn't have, the stress of bills, the stress of everything, that life has given us now. So like when it comes to tapping into a project, I always start there. I always start on what would, 2-year-old or 3-year-old, 4-year-old Keonté think? What
Hmm.
would he want to see?
I just love that what you just said about, in your imagination, we can all be free,
Yeah.
right? So, and that's why I'm so passionate about books and that, I really appreciate that that my family has always encouraged reading. And one of my favorite pictures is of me with my mom reading when I was about 2.
Wow.
So just that whole getting
Oh.
lost in, I know, right? Just from way, way back. I had a Reader's Digest in my hand, but which is kind of funny. But I had
Oh,
lots of wonderful memories, and continue to make memories. So
yeah.
why don't we share a little bit about with I Am King?
Sure.
Read a few pages for our viewers. And while folks are watching, if you're watching live, make sure that if you have questions for Keonté, that you fire them in the comments, and we'll get to them. So let's have a listen. Let's
Yeah,
see here.
absolutely.
Okay, so I'll bring these pages up, and you can. There we go.
Sure. So, hello. Hey, hi, how are you? My name is Shamar. When you take one look at me, what is the first thing that you see? You see an adventurous young boy with radiant brown skin, but that's just a small piece of me. The rest lies within. Now, my dad has always told me that I am a king. And I'd ask, what does that mean? And he'd say, much more than one thing. A king is very giving and has a beautiful, beautiful big heart. He understands teamwork and is always ready to do his part. Now, a king is not embarrassed to show how he really feels. But what makes him a great king is that he always keeps it real. A king is not perfect, but he always tries his best. But most of the time, he's patient, even when he feels stressed. Now, a king is aware of the challenges he may face, and even though they are sometimes tough, he never quits. He finishes the race.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's leave it there so that people now have just a little teaser, and they'll have to read more. But
Yeah,
I can easily see that you are pulling so much from personal experience, and the falling down, and but always getting back up. And
mhm,
you know one of the things that I really admire about you is that you also take these lessons into the schools. Talk a little bit about your school visits. And while you're chatting, I'm going to bring up these gorgeous pictures.
sure, sure. So,
Yeah.
we've been on the I Am tour,
Hmm.
2023, and we've been able to go into different schools all across Nova Scotia, and kind of present to the kids. I get to sing songs with them. I get to tell them a little bit about myself and my story, but I also get to encourage them to dream. And it's not just for the kids either. It's also for the teachers too. Because for me, growing up, a teacher by the name of Miss Tyne Simons was a huge influence on me in my writing. And teachers have a big responsibility too. They spend so much time with our kids. They have a responsibility to also nourish those dreams, also nourish those goals, and be able to pick out, the talents that are individual between each kids. So I talk to the teachers, I talk to the kids, we laugh, we have a great time. We do a lot of clapping and dancing, and we do a lot of we get a lot of hugs too, and we got to
I
get the
just love
hugs.
that. Oh my gosh. Just the warmth, it just exudes. You exude warmth and enthusiasm. And I can just imagine those kids just getting right into the groove. And are they really inquisitive? Like, what kinds of questions do they ask you?
Absolutely. So at the end, right before I do songs and we kind of close it out, I ask for questions, if anybody has questions, and it's like
There's the hands.
a million kids just throw up their hands, and I never ever get to all of them. I could never. As some of them are putting their hand down, the rest of them are putting it up. So they're very, very, curious, and they come up afterwards and they get like shoes autographed, and
Oh.
everything, foreheads and stuff.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. I used to be a preschool teacher, so I totally, like, I resonate with kids getting excited and singing.
Yeah,
Song circle was my favorite time of the morning.
yeah.
Song circle and story time. Um, and of course that probably surprises you, doesn't it? So,
Sounds about right.
oh yeah. So when you go to these schools, and I can see like you're showing them your latest book there. So this is a fairly recent school visit, and that is a packed gym. Um, do they? Are you seeing like your songs? Like, are they familiar with your work?
Yeah, and especially because I feel like even though the target are usually from primary to six,
Hmm.
we also get to go into junior high and high schools too. These messages are for, I mean, I feel like all ages, to be completely honest. Um,
Absolutely.
so a lot of kids, especially when we get into the older ages, they know King, the song King. They know, some of the tunes that they hear on YouTube. But
Hmm.
even the younger kids, I I start off the presentation saying like, "Does anybody know who I am?" And they're all like, "Yeah."
Woo!
Yeah, so they're familiar, with some of my work, and so that makes it, that much more of an interaction for
Yeah, absolutely. And I listened to you're also very famous. I'm very, very
them.
humbled to have you on our show again. But you also co-host or guest host frequently for CBC Main Street,
Yeah,
and you were on fairly recently.
yeah.
You're a wonderful interviewer. You're a great listener. You really,
Thank you.
get the your guests talking. And I listened to your interview with Senator Wanda Thomas Bernard, who is also from North Preston, if I'm not mistaken.
She's from
And
East Preston.
Easton. Oh, sorry. Thank
Yep,
you,
yep,
East
East
Preston.
Preston.
And you talked about how important your message is for all ages,
Mhm.
and she shared some very personal stories and talked about her depression while she was in high school, and overcoming that. So it really does, there's no age limit to how important it is for your message to get out. um,
Absolutely.
and one of your songs is Legacy. So
Yeah.
where did that come from, and what does that mean to you?
Oh, that was a cool project. I got the opportunity to participate in CBC East Coast Music Hour, their story in a song series.
Mhm.
And the theme was lost. It was to talk about your feelings through COVID and things of that nature, and what did that downtime make you feel, make you think about. And for me, it was always legacy from the beginning. I always wanted to leave a legacy, and make sure that the work I'm doing here um, will last even when I'm not here. So for me, that was intensified through COVID. I just thought
Mm,
about like,
right.
instead of things saying, like later on, okay, later on, I'm going to make sure this is the case. Like, what can I be doing today? What can I be doing right now that will impact the world in a greater way? I mean, we don't know how much time we have here. We should be using every minute to make a change.
Well, that's a very powerful message, and I really love how you hold space, and how you know encourage kids to hold their own space and explore what makes them special. There was another type of a book that you launched fairly recently, almost simultaneously to I Am a King, was it?
Yeah, yeah,
And that was a coloring book.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of another real different way to express your creativity. And you're doing all this artwork as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Let's have
right.
a look at this coloring book, and tell us how that came about. And we are family, so I love to color. And when my nephews and great nephews come, I always pull out the coloring books, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you pick a page first. All right.
And that's exactly like how it came about. Like again, going back into tapping into what I felt and what I loved when I was a
Mhm.
kid. And coloring for me was absolutely one of those things, and I was honestly a pretty great I don't know what's the word, colorer. That's not even a color. But I was pretty great at it. So I
Love it.
wanted kids to be able to express themselves creatively, and kind of take the world that I created in I'm a King and build their own space with their own colors and their own patterns and whatever the case may be.
This is incredible. Like, where did you get how did you become so multi-talented? I want to know. You know?
It's very, you know what? It's so interesting because I feel like I ask so many questions. It's like it's almost no way for me to learn, for
It's
me not to
amazing.
learn so many things. Like I've always just been somebody who asks so many questions. If I wanted to know about something, I would always find a way to figure it out and then do it my own way and practice,
That's
practice.
that's amazing. And are you a good cook? I see. Are you helping your mom cook in this picture?
Yeah, and you know what? I am a good cook too. I actually am a good
Awesome.
cook.
I'm so impressed. Oh my goodness. Well, look at that. I love this. We'll just have to, I'm going to have to get myself a hard copy of this coloring book and add it to our repertoire here.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Talk about this picture here. Look how wonderful. You're on top of the world and nature is just beaming around you.
Yeah, so this one, I actually have a picture that is similar to this, you know, a still photo of myself.
Hmm.
Um, and so this one was kind of taken like verbatimly just through that picture. And it was kind of brainstormed. I just felt like that moment of being on the hill that time and, you know, kind of standing in myself.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
and I mean, I've seen some of your music videos as well, and there's a lot of you're outside in nature, and
Yeah.
um, obviously that is one of your happy places, is
Oh
it?
my goodness. Oh my goodness. Like probably number one for me. Number
Absolutely.
one, you know, just connected anywhere near as water is like heaven to me.
Me too. Are you a water sign?
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, okay. I'm Cancer, so
Okay,
obviously,
water. Yeah.
definitely water. Yeah. I want to say hi to the folks who are watching, and Jane Doucette, who is a fellow author here in Nova Scotia. And she says, hello, did I see somewhere that Keonté just did a CBC hosting gig?
Yeah.
We touched on that a little bit earlier. And she says, what was that about? Like, how did it come about?
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I actually do like we've had a sort of a partnership with CBC Radio since 2020 when
Excellent.
we did Christmas with Keonté Beals in North Preston. That was the first one we ever did. And
Okay.
that one I think became the highest rated CBC story in all of Canada. Thank you. In all of Canada. And I was able to produce that. I dropped the Christmas EP with it and
Wow.
it was just incredible. It catapulted so much. So I actually had an idea last year of, you know, I've always wanted to do radio, always wanted to. I have such a respect for the art form. So I messaged them. I was like, what, you know what? I wonder what it would look like for me to have my own, you know, hour. They were like, let's do it. Let's figure it out and let's do it. And a year later, you know, we were able to do it. And it was great. Yeah.
And you know what that lesson is to anybody listening, excuse me, is you don't get if you don't ask, right?
Yep.
It doesn't hurt to ask. Well,
The
and
only
that's
thing anybody can ever say is no, you know?
exactly. And then you find another avenue, right?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. And I mean, obviously, you have a beautiful singing voice,
Thank you.
but oftentimes, you know, you don't have both a nice, you know, tone for radio and like speaking and, but you have a great voice for radio as well. I've listened
Thank you.
to a couple of those. And do you have more scheduled to coming up anytime soon?
Yeah,
Or
we'll definitely be doing stories. I'll say that. We'll definitely be
okay.
doing more stories and other things coming up. I want to keep it a surprise though.
Okay, well
Yeah,
that's an
yeah.
awesome surprise. So, you know, how are you working on another children's book?
I am. I am. I'm working on the third one. That will be
Another in the I Am series, yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. This one I'm very excited to be doing, like extremely excited because I don't want to give it away, but it's like we touched base on it a little bit as we were speaking. And it's so cool to be able to tap back into that space. Oh my goodness. I've been having a ball like doing this one for sure. All of them, but this one probably my favorite so far.
Ooh, I can't wait. Well, and let's go back with the kids. So, what are some of the questions that the kids ask you?
So one question that one of the kids, now this was at a junior high, one of the kids after I was finished, you know, she came up and because I spoke a little bit about a story of where somebody told me, somebody who was a close family friend, basically told me that I shouldn't dream about being a singer or performer. She told me I should get a, think about actually getting a real job. And I was young. I mean, young, like
Mhm.
probably like 11 years old.
Wow.
Um, and a kid came up to me and she asked me, what did you feel like when the lady told you that, you couldn't be what you wanted to be? And she was like, did you tell her I'm going to come right back here this day and I'm going to show you that I can do this and da da da? She's like, so much attitude. And
I love it.
I was like, you know what? I didn't. I'm like, I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel
Mhm.
like I had to prove anything to her. I felt like I wanted to prove that to myself.
Mhm.
Um, so my approach was a little bit different than what people would think. And even still to this day, I don't have any hard feelings because I wasn't from the beginning trying to prove anything to her. It was to
Mhm.
myself. And I did that.
And how did you keep yourself from being discouraged?
I now that part I have no idea about, I in some way am very much so like a self motivator. I've always been. I have no idea how, honestly. I have no idea.
So you turned that questioning person toward internally, right? So how am I going to do this? What am I going to do?
Yes, it's like you just gotta believe like in yourself, And that was something that my mom would always say, believe in yourself. People are always gonna be people. You gotta
Hmm.
believe in yourself. She would keep it simple and I heard her when she said it. And I just
Mm.
would. Yeah.
Well, and that also, fortunately, you had a positive influence at home that was sort of countering any of the negative, haters that would
Yeah,
discourage you from
that's
pursuing
right.
them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. Tim Covell has joined us. Hi, Tim. Thanks for listening in. And he says, happy to see someone praising radio as opposed to podcasting.
Yeah.
we
Love
love
radio.
we love our CBC, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jane has a question. She says, does Keontae plan to stay based in Nova Scotia?
um It's a great question. We're like working on expanding for sure,
Hmm.
expanding outside of Nova Scotia. I will have my company base here though, and I would
Hmm.
just travel all over, maybe even move pieces of the company in other provinces and that type of thing. But we'll definitely be still based in Nova Scotia, still working here too, even when I, venture off. We still have work to do here too.
Oh, well, that's very reassuring. And so, and your company being based here, your company is K Beals Entertainment,
That's right.
correct?
Yep. Yep.
And tell us about the whole, like all of the elements of K Beals Entertainment, so everybody understands just the complexity of the man and the business.
So basically, 𝐾 Entertainment company I opened officially launched in 2020. Of course, I was a musician professionally since 2014.
Mhm.
I opened the company with the dream and the goal of being able to just kind of express myself creatively, whatever that meant. To be able to basically house all of the talents that I have. So for me, I'm a producer, singer songwriter. I can't even list all the things because there's honestly a lot of them. um, but yeah, it's just like a creative hub for me to be able to just kind of do my thing, and it's primarily focuses on, I would say for sure right now, children's books and publishing, but
Mhm.
also of course music and production and things of that nature.
Okay, and the publishing company is fairly new.
Hmm.
Yes, and happy to see it growing and blossoming. And
Yeah.
so, how do people get their hands on "I Am Perfectly Me," "I Am a King," and the Family Coloring Book? Can they find you from the keb.ca?
Yes, yes, they can go there. I'm also not opposed to people just kind of reaching out, on social media and through DMs. Shoot me a DM, a
Okay,
private message, and we'll get you set up.
and how do they find you on social media? Where are you? What handles?
So I'm Keonté Beals all across the board: Twitter, Instagram, even LinkedIn. Facebook. What else? Am I missing one? No, I think that's it. Yeah,
Are you on YouTube or TikTok
YouTube.
yet? to YouTube for
You
sure.
know what? I'm on TikTok. I haven't really started doing too much. I was on TikTok. You know what? It's crazy. I was on TikTok
Tell me.
before TikTok blew up because I heard one of my favorite entrepreneurs, Gary Vee. He said TikTok is gonna be big, and I said, okay, well,
Mhm,
let me try to get a head start. This is
mhm,
literally like a year or two before TikTok blew up. And
mhm.
then I'm there, I'm building and I have, a little bit of a following and things of that nature. And I'm like, you know what? Ain't nobody on TikTok. Delete, delete my account 2 years later. Delete my account.
Oh,
TikTok
man.
blows up. I'm like, oh my God, I would have had a head start at her. Oh, but it's okay. The kids live on
Oh,
TikTok, so I'm gonna
yes.
be on there
You're
doing
gonna
some
go
cool stuff.
back. I am
Yeah.
on TikTok,
Woo.
but you know what? I'm not entertaining enough. I need to maybe, learn to cut loose a little bit, but
Yeah, dance a little bit and stuff.
right? Right? No, I
Yeah.
don't think so. I might need a lesson or two. But I did find you also have a shop on your website.
I do,
So
yeah.
yeah, so if anybody wants to purchase and plus, please purchase music as well, right? Your
We
music.
also have like apparel too and things of that nature.
Ooh, like what kind of clothing do you have? Is that on this? Is
Yeah,
that if I scroll?
if you click
Oh,
just up
here we are.
there, just up there at the top even, like it says
Okay.
kind of click, yeah, that
Yep.
right there. There's a
Oh,
couple
look.
things
Yes.
there.
And I love your logo. It's like
Thank
a
you.
heartbeat and a flow and a wave, like
Yeah.
all in one. Oh my goodness. And look at these. Oh, with the characters. You are a star, man. I love it. Did you see when I was scrolling down? Did we see
I don't
oh
even
my,
know. Right now it looks like it's stuck
on you, stuck on you?
on the other screen. It
Oh,
didn't go
so,
to the other one,
oh, the
to the
apparel. Oh,
apparel.
wait a
Yeah.
minute. Okay. There.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. So
Oh,
I
it's so
was
cute.
having such a good time scrolling through and nobody could see what I was looking at.
Look at them, they're so cute, and they
Oh,
come in different colors and stuff too.
oh my goodness, I love the purple one. Okay, I've got to go shopping. I don't know about you guys, but and the hoodie. So tell me about this logo. How cool is that?
Yeah, so this is a piece of my logo, the full overall logo. The
Mhm.
KB, I call it the KB wave.
Mhm. I love
um,
it.
and just kind of to me signifies like different vibrations, different waves. I feel like I'm a different kind of guy as far as my lane and um, the multiple things that I can do. Um,
Right.
yeah.
That's incredible. And look, this is a phone case, is it?
Yeah, and there's so
Oh,
many different colors. Like when you click, it's not just black and those, but when you click, there's like so many different colors to choose from.
oh my goodness. Look at that. And that's incredible. Well, I could just scroll through here all day long. Oh, that's fantastic. And so people can buy from the shop or they can reach out to you on any of your social media,
That's right.
message you on kebe.ca, kb.ca. That's K Beals Entertainment. Wow, I'm just totally blown away by you as always.
Yeah,
And I'm so proud of you and
thank you.
pleased and happy. So definitely have to get my hands on a hard copy of I Am a King.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know how much I appreciate you too. You're a big, big, big help for me,
Oh,
starting out and appreciate you very, very much. You know that though.
totally my pleasure. We got to raise each other up, right? Everybody.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think it's a very, very powerful message in most of what you do. So thank you for coming on again and giving us the update on what you're doing. And we
Yeah.
will be watching. Do you have any last little words of advice for the folks that are watching?
Ooh, I would say, whatever you're going through to just keep moving, keep it moving, keep going forward. Give yourself time to process whatever it is that you need to process, to feel your feelings. It's important. It's very, very important. And then move forward in a healthy way. But you
Excellent.
always be good.
Feel your feelings. And
That's
Jane
right.
says, lots to look forward to, I'll say. Oh gosh. Well, thanks again for joining us,
Thank you
Keontae,
for
and
having me.
We'll look forward to having you back real soon.
Thank
And thank you all for watching the author journey this week. And I hope you will come back and listen to the author journey again as we explore the publishing world, talking to authors and publishers and editors and designers and people from all avenues of life. So we're happy to have you watch today and look forward to seeing you again. Have a wonderful day, and